Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, joined this hour by my good friend Christina Ellis, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about your life, your money. Maybe you need a second opinion, you need some motivation, some inspiration. You're at a crossroads. We are here for you. We want to help you take the right next step with your money. Larry kicks us off this hour in Houston, Texas. Larry, welcome to The Ramsey Show. How you doing?
Doing well. And how y'all doing?
Doing great. How can we help?
Well, thanks for taking my call to start it off, but I wanted to ask a question. My wife and I are trying to get tired of being in debt and trying to get back on track. And I've got a daughter that's a sophomore in high school right now, and her goal is to go to college. And I haven't done any saving. We had our own business for 15 years, and in 2020 we had to shut it down. And so the thing what happened is all the savings that we had and all that stuff I put back into the company to try to keep it going. And so anyhow, my main thing is I just need some encouragement or some guidance.
I'm sorry to hear about your business, Larry. That's a tough thing, and so many business owners felt that same pain during the pandemic. How are you guys doing now financially?
Man, I believe that I believe that I make good money. My wife got a part-time job now. The thing is, it just seems like we don't know where it went. You know,
how much? Like, what's your household income?
Household is $130,000.
And how much debt
a year? $35,000.
What kind of debt is that?
My wife's Jeeps. We owe $15,000 on her Jeep, and some credit cards. We owe $9,000 on some credit cards, and we have a camper that we owe about $9,000 on.
Okay. And what's the conversation been like with your daughter regarding college?
She wants to go to college. She wants to be a vet. And that weighs heavy on my heart because I don't want to have to tell her that I don't want to have to go with debt. That's the thing.
Well, Larry, I think you represent a lot of parents right now. I think a lot of parents are in your situation. They have kids in high school and they're like, oh my gosh, they see the cost of tuition and they're just overwhelmed by it. So I think first thing is just take a deep breath. And there are so many different strategies. Just because you don't have the money to pay for it out of pocket right now does not mean that she can't go to vet school. So what have the conversations looked about money with her? So have you had this conversation about finances and the cost of college?
Well, yes, ma'am. And the thing is they're big into ag and things like that. So they do show animals. And when they make sale in their animals, when we're fortunate enough to make sale, we do put money back for them for their college, things like that. But I'd like to try to find out about some I listen to y'all quite a bit, and some scholarships. You know, there's one personality with y'all that went to college on nothing but
You're talking to her, buddy.
There
That's
you
me.
go. That's
there
perfect.
she is.
Yeah.
How perfect
and
is this?
I was telling her the other day, I was like, there was a lady that, got $500,000 in scholarships, but where do we start? How do we do that to where she can? And with our school also, one great thing is with our school, her high school, is she can come out with a 2-year college. So Lone Star College is actually with our school also, and she is in college classes plus high school classes. But
that's awesome. She sounds really bright. So from what I can gather, she's motivated to pursue this herself. She's motivated to figure out how to pay for it. Is that a correct assessment?
Yes and no. I mean, she wants to do her. She's kind of like I am, I guess. She's not for sure. I really don't know. The thing is she wants to go to college. Her and her cousin have this big goal. They're both going to be vets and have their own practice, and I don't want to beat that down. I mean, she's really good she's good with animals, and she's been wanting to do that for a long time.
Well, the very first thing I'm going to say you should do is sit down and watch Borrowed Future, or documentary. Do that together. Make it a movie night. And that can really start some conversations, because one of the biggest things in talking to a high school student, a lot of times they just don't realize what they're up against. They've never had to pay for a mortgage. They don't know how it is to pay monthly bills. So having those conversations early about, this is what student loan debt is. When you turn 18, when you go to college, there's going to be all these people who are offering you student loans, but there's another way. And that documentary, it really lays it out, because I found a lot of parents, it's hard to have that conversation. A lot of times students are resistant to it. They're like, I don't want to hear it. All my friends are taking out student loans, and I just want to take out a student loan and YOLO and figure it out later. But this documentary, it lays out the consequences of student loans. We talked to doctors and we talked to people who took out debt, and now, they're 10 years from their degree and they're in tears because they're still overwhelmed. So having that picture painted as to the why to avoid debt, I think that's the very first step. And that can hopefully trigger some motivations to start pursuing scholarships, to start doing the research. And I love that you're so motivated as a parent, because part of my story was my mom got in the ring with me. She didn't have the money to pay for college. She was like, that's disappointing. That's frustrating. But what I can do is I can get in the ring with you and help you figure out scholarships. We're going to go to the library together. We're going to set aside time and carve out small goals for making this happen. So, be willing to do the research, help her walk through, if you apply to so many scholarships a week, this is how much it's going to be over 6 months. Help her create that vision for why this is motivating, and then get tactical. A lot of times parents, you can sit down with your students and think through, what are the best scholarships for my student to apply for? That's usually one of the things that is just overwhelming for students, actually finding these scholarships. There are millions of scholarships out there given away every year, billions of dollars, but you have to narrow them down and figure out which ones fit you best. So really sitting down and helping create that list so that you can start applying for scholarships, that's going to be key. And there's a really great database called Scholarship Owl that we work with, and we just love them. They do a great job of kind of filtering out some of the scam scholarships, some of the junk scholarships, to get you a really targeted list.
Okay. Yeah, and that's one thing is she hasn't talked about getting any, loans or anything like that. I think she wants to. I'm pretty sure she wants to go debt free. Both the kids are way better than I was with money whenever I was that age.
That means you raised them right, Larry. You're changing your family tree.
Yeah, exactly. So one more question on that too is my wife and I are wanting to get out of debt. We're starting it now. 3 months ago, I sold my 17 Tundra. I had to, I was $4,000 upside down. I went to my bank. They gave me the loan for $4,000 after I sold it. The thing is I might not communicate all the time. So I've got my wife on board with the getting out of debt.
Okay.
But she how do I get her to where she's wanting to do the same page that I'm on?
Oh, I got the perfect thing for you, Larry. Hang on the line. We're going to send you Financial Peace University. Go through all 9 lessons with her. Get on a budget using every dollar that's a part of it, and get rid of this debt. And soon you'll be able to actually help your daughter cash flow college. You can do this, man. You're $35K in debt. You make $130. Sell the camper. Do whatever you have to do to set yourself free financially, and you'll be on the path. Thanks for the call.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined this hour by Christina Ellis. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Well, here we are in 2023. Most of you are glad to be done with 2022 because it was a tough year. It was hard enough just to keep gas in the car, food in the fridge, and money is still tight. And you might be wondering, is this year going to be any different? Are we going to make any progress? Are we going to be just as stressed as we were last year? Well, good news for you. You don't have to live through another year of stress and worry, regardless of what happens in the economy. So watch our free live stream, Building Wealth in 2023, happening this Thursday night, because we want to show you that it's still possible to make progress on your goals, build wealth, and have peace with money, even in this crazy economy. During the event, you're going to hear from Dave Ramsey, Rachel Cruz, myself, Dr. John Deloney, and Ken Coleman. We're going to show you how to set goals, how to create margins so that you have the ability to build wealth this year, whatever your goals may be. And we're going to have some fun as well. There's some fun surprises that I can't leak out just yet. We'll get there. And here's the good news. Even if the economy feels out of control, you don't have to be. So please register for the free live stream at ramseysolutions.com/wealth. Tell your friends. Again, it's completely free. You can tune in from wherever you are around the world, and ramseysolutions.com/wealth is the place to sign up. We'll get you all the information you need. All right, let's go to the phones. JoJo joins us up next in New York City. JoJo, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
How you doing?
Better than I deserve, as Dave would say.
Love it. How can we help today?
So 3 weeks ago today, basically to the hour, I came home from work to find that my cottage burnt down.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I lost
So
everything,
sorry.
including the cat.
The cat?
Yeah, Abigail.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been a ride. It's been an absolute ride. And I rented, and I had no renter's insurance. But I have a community to get to the point of love that is just ridiculous. And God is using this for good. He's putting me on a track that I needed to be on, and I'm just so grateful for it on every level. But GoFundMe was set up. There's about $97,000 right now. I'm George Bailey right now.
wow.
Talk about a community. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of love.
They're full of love. And then this Thursday, sadly, I'm going to miss that live stream. I wanted to watch it, but they're having not a GoFundMe. They're having a fundraiser music. It's a big music community, and they put together 5 of my favorite bands, and there's going to be more money coming in from that, maybe a few more thousand. I'm going
That's
to break
incredible.
100,000 easily. Yeah.
Wow. Well, there's some
it
silver
really
lining
is.
there for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
So how can we help today?
So that being said, I started the Dave Ramsey course again, failed at it years ago, but now it's like taking control, and it feels great.
Let's
I
go.
make good money. I don't have much debt. I got some back taxes that I need to talk to the accountant about. I got a truck that's 2016 Tundra, about $16,000 I owe on it. Where do I go with this money? Do I pay the truck off? Eventually, I want to buy a house. I still need to live, but I don't want to take anything from this to live. I want to find, hopefully God just put something in place that I can afford, because what I had was an incredible deal. The rent I had was amazing. It's unheard of here in the Hamptons. And I need to find something like that again. I'll rebuild day by day with the Ramsey thing and with my normal work. So I got all this money that has to allocate to a future for myself.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back on board.
Thank you.
We're proud of you. That's wonderful. So is that $16,000? Is that all of your debt? Is the car everything?
Besides the back taxes, which I'm not sure, there may be $9,000 to $13,000 in back taxes that I've been holding off since 2013. I don't give them anything, but they are going to come after me. And then there's another $1,000 in unsecured, like PayPal credit card, which I make payments every month on.
Okay. And with this money that you're getting from the fundraisers and from the GoFundMe, how much with the rental and with the fire loss, what was the total loss on that?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
So with what you lost in the fire, what is your total loss? What is the amount?
The amount of, like, as far as property and
Money,
things that
property, everything. Like, how much money are you trying to raise? What is the goal with that?
Well, I don't know if I'm trying to raise anything for the stuff I lost. That's all. I had a vinyl vintage collection that was worth thousands, and concert posters that are worth thousands of dollars. And I'm not trying to replace any of that stuff. I will, but not with this money that I got from them.
Okay.
Eventually, I'll just build up something.
So where are
new and
you
different.
living right now?
All right, so a friend has a place that he rents out in the summer, so I got 3 months of being here. However, my rent, if that's what you're asking, it was $1,000 a month and $500 worth of labor because I was a caretaker of the property on top of my regular job, and it's unheard of.
So you won't find that again?
I would love to. Before that, I was paying $1,300 to rent a room where I didn't feel comfortable in a person's kitchen or living room. You know what I mean?
What's your income?
My income is about annually with my side gigs, about $120,000 I bring in.
Okay, great. So the good news is
and I have child support.
Okay, how much is that?
$1,600 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can clean up this debt real quick. And you can keep the truck. I want you to set aside the money for taxes and start paying that regularly. You might want to do quarterly estimated with your accountant to avoid the IRS coming after you with fees and penalties. I mean, you cannot get them off your back. So something you want to pay attention to, obviously, going forward.
And I would want to sit down with a tax pro because, like you said, they're going to come for you at some point, but you're not really sure, exactly how much you owe, what the situation is. So I would want to sit down with a professional and kind of walk through that, walk through if there's any, extra fees, any extra things that you're going to have to pay, because especially with the IRS, you want total clarity. And with this money coming in, you want to wipe them out of your life. That is not somebody you want to be in debt to.
Do you already have money in the bank aside from the 97?
Yeah, I have about $4,000 saved on my own.
Okay, so we're talking, we got $100,000. What would we do to start fresh on the Ramsey plan?
Yes.
Well, looks like about 30 of that, let's say, is going to go towards debt. Okay. Now we've got 70, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we need a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. So let's call that, for round numbers, $20,000.
Okay.
That now leaves you with $50,000. And it puts us at baby step 4, where we begin investing 15% of our income into retirement. So then we can start to walk that out and go, all right, what are my retirement options? Do you have a 401k through an employer?
I do. There's about $50,000 in there right now.
Okay. Is there a Roth option with that, or is it traditional? I
believe it's traditional. Now, I did borrow from it. But I borrowed against myself, though. So I borrowed. So I'm not sure how that works, but I owe $22,000. I pay $108 a month. Not a month, $108 a week into that. And it's a 5% interest that comes back to me. That's how it's written.
So how dumb does JoJo have to be to borrow money from himself with interest? That doesn't sound like a gift.
It just it keeps the money out of there, making money for
that JoJo guy years. Sounds like a real jerk charging you interest. So this is not a gift. I'm paying off the 401k loan as part of the debt snowball. And so how much is the 401k loan total?
It looks like it's almost done.
You're almost there?
Wait, say that again?
How much is the 401k loan? What's left on it to pay back?
$22,000.
Oh, okay. Well, this money all of a sudden has some jobs to do, doesn't it? You're not going to have a whole lot left over to have fun with, but you know what you will have? Your income back in your life, because you're not making all these payments left and right on top of the child support.
Right.
Right now, you've been out earning the stupidity in a sense, because you're making good money, but there's not much left at the end of the month, is there?
No.
And so I want to free up all of that income so that you can use it to build wealth, to do the things that you want to do, to afford rent in the Hamptons, which is going to be absurdly expensive unless you can find a situation like you had before. And so I'm listing out all of the debts, everything from smallest to largest, and paying it off with that gift money you have. The rest is going to go towards 3 to 6 months of expenses. Begin investing 15%. Whatever's left over, you can park in a high-yield savings account and use that as a future down payment to be a homeowner one day. That would be my goal for you, JoJo. So sorry for what you went through. That's tough.
And JoJo, again, just to reiterate, the tax pro, that money coming in from fundraising, make sure to talk to a tax professional, because there may be gift tax that applies to that, and you don't want to once again be in trouble with the IRS.
Look into do your due diligence with the GoFundMe stuff, man. Wishing you the best after that awful, awful situation. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis this hour. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Let's get to our question of the day. It comes from Corey in Oregon. What does Corey have to say, Christina?
You often say the best thing you can do is invest in yourself. So how is taking out a student loan that will allow me to drastically increase my income, pay off debt, and build wealth faster such a bad idea if I'm going to get such a good return on my investment?
Whoa. I like the snark in Corey, but Corey's got to get
Spicy.
up off his assumptions. There is a lot going on here. So, number one, he's saying you often say the best thing you can do is invest in yourself. Generally, when we say that, we are talking about people who are 18, 19, 20 saying, hey, I've got all this money. What do I do with it? Should I invest it into the stock market? And we don't know what their future in education is. Do they need that money to pay for that? And so that's why we say, hey, the best thing you can do is invest in yourself instead of the stock market right now. There's that. But this idea of the student loan is an investment. It's going to dramatically increase my income and help me do all of these things. Why is it such a bad idea? The ROI is there, Christina, isn't it?
Oh, obviously. It always works out how we plan. And the thing is that it doesn't always work out. There are actually studies that show that most students don't graduate in 4 years. A lot of students take either 6 years or they don't graduate at all. Actually, 40% of students take 6 years or don't graduate at all, which is a scary statistic. We talk to people all the time who have student loans that didn't even get the degree. That's scary.
That's the scariest part, is if you don't finish, you still owe that money.
Right. And if you put strategy into it, you can go to college debt free. So the idea that you need to take on loans to go to school, that's just not true. And we also see people all the time who are drowning in student loan debt. So while, yes, a lot of people take out student loans, a lot of people feel the pain and ramifications from it, and it's just not worth it. We say take loans completely off the table. Yes, invest in yourself. Absolutely. You need an education to some extent, and that may look like an apprenticeship. That may look like an internship. That may just look like job experience, but we want you to get educated, but just do it without debt. Yes, invest in yourself. And we do it debt-free.
We cover a lot of this in the Borrowed Future documentary, but it comes down to this philosophical issue of is the college degree still worth what it was? And we're seeing over time it's just worth less. For our parents' generation, it was a safe bet to get the degree because you knew you were going to get a better job because of it. And that's just not true today. I mean, I grew up in the Northeast, and half of my friends are still working on their 4th master's degrees, and they've never had a job. And I'm going, what are you guys doing? Because the companies that are going to hire are going to go, do you have the experience? And yes, they want you to know how to do the job, and part of that is education. But these days, there's so many ways to get it. It's more of a checking a box than it is, hey, Christina, what school did you go to? And unless you went to some Ivy League school, most companies don't give a rip.
Right. Well, and it's not a knock on education. I still think the value of a college degree is there, but there are so many other factors playing into it. Before, it seemed like it was a guarantee. You know, you had to have a college degree to be successful, and we are seeing all the time now that that's just not true. And it's time that the higher education industry got checked, because for so long, they just ran around like, they didn't have any accountability. They could just raise tuition to whatever they wanted. People would just take out loans to pay for it. And I feel like we're finally getting their attention and saying, hey, you can't just charge whatever you want and put 18-year-olds in thousands of dollars of debt without us questioning.
Well, that's their entire marketing strategy is if you go to our school, wow, your kid's going to have such a bright future. The ROI is always going to be there. And so it's part of the narrative that your life is just going to be better if you go to our school. And what we're finding is there's a lot of time in between classes, it turns out, and not everyone finishes, and not all degrees are equal. And so if you got your degree over here, it may not be equal to the one over here. And so you've got to think about, what is my goal with this education? What job am I after? What career am I after? Does that career actually require a 4-year degree? If so, great. Then do that and do it without debt and do it the most affordable way possible.
Right. And one of the things to look at, if we're going to talk about return on investment, look at college ROI. So there's starting to be a lot of ratings and people evaluating colleges based on their return on investment. And that is a really good thing. We want to make sure that that degree pays off. We're not just trying to get a degree for a check mark just to say that we had it. We want it to have purpose. We want it to help us make more money and to be more successful in our career. So a few things to look at when you're evaluating ROI on a college. You want to look at the net price. So a lot of times people will look at a college and they just get overwhelmed by the sticker price. They're like, oh my gosh, I could never afford that school. But there's this thing called a net price calculator where you can actually go on a school's website. You can type in your information. You can type in your GPA, your test scores, your financial situation, and they have to tell you how much, about an estimate of what you will actually pay to go to that school. So they'll tell you potential grants and scholarships, and you can get a better idea of what the college cost will actually be. Another really important thing to look at is the 4-year completion rate. So if you're thinking about going to a school that's 4 years, you're looking off into the horizon and you're thinking, this school costs $20,000. Okay, I think I can afford that. But can you afford it if it takes you 5 years? Can you afford it if it takes you 6 years? That's a whole different equation. That's $20,000 to $40,000 more, which a lot of schools are way more than that. So this could be a huge, huge difference. So, look on average, do most students finish that school in 4 years? And a lot of times that data is out there. And the statistics are scary. They say there was a study that was done that said only 40% of students finish school in 4 years.
Yikes.
That's crazy. And then 20% take between 4 and 6 years, and 40% don't graduate at all. And, sometimes this is because of a student, not having ambition, they're slacking off, they're going to parties. But a lot of times it's because the school's not great at scheduling. Maybe some of the classes that are requirements aren't actually available. They're difficult to get into, or they don't have great advisors that help students walk through exactly what they need to graduate in 4 years. So look at those statistics, see if you're likely to actually finish that degree in 4 years. And then another big thing that you think would be really obvious is earning potential.
Oh, that's such a fun word, earning potential.
Right? I'm
going to make so much more money because I went to this school. And how do we figure that piece out?
Well, look at the stats. Look at the stats on, the different majors within the school. How much are their graduates typically earning? That's important. Then also look at your specific major. I mean, this is kind of hard to choke down, but we've talked to a lot of teachers who went and got $200,000 educations to make $38,000 a year. That's tough. I mean, we love teachers, and by all means, we need teachers. We need teachers to get educated. But unless you have a lot of scholarships, unless you're getting grants to go to a specific school that costs $200,000 a year, you're probably not going to get a great return on investment. Like, we've talked to teachers that have over $100,000 in student loans, and it's, 2-3 times their salary. You got to think about those things in advance. You don't want to put yourself in that situation where even best case scenario, you're not likely to ROI.
Yeah, that's scary. And I hate that we have to keep saying this, but you've got to do the math. And most people are just following their heart's deepest passions, because that's what we taught our kids, was just follow your dreams and go to college at all costs. And that's the path to success in the American dream. And they get out of school and they've got a pile of payments. They can't afford rent. They can't breathe. They can't even do the jobs they wanted to do because they got to get that paycheck and pay the bills.
Right. And that's it's important when looking at a major, even if it looks really cool, even if it's something fun to study, even if you're interested in it, you still need to have a career path after that. There still has to be some way to make money from that. I mean, you can read books, you can do things for pleasure, go to a library and read books for fun. But when we're talking about something you are paying for, that you are hoping to get a return on, you need to be clear about the numbers up front. Is this degree, is this major going to pay off?
Well, and we've got to talk about the alternative careers out there, like the trades. They're so overlooked, undervalued. They're poo-pooed by the parents out there. And yet we get calls on the Ramsey Show and they're going, oh yeah, I've got no debt and I make $85,000 a year as a plumber. Right. And I'm going, that guy is winning. Old Junior over here with his fancy 4-year, 6-year degree who's making 40. Let's do the math on that one, parents.
Well, and one more thing is opportunity cost. Like, if you want to go into a trade, you may not need a 4-year degree. And if you didn't do the 4-year degree, how much money could you have been making in that time that you were in school?
Well, this all starts with a conversation with your kids. Don't leave it up to chance. Don't leave it to the guidance counselors. This is on you, parents. Start the conversation early and often. Even if you can't afford it, we've got to get a game plan for these generations to graduate debt-free with actual jobs on the other side. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined this hour by Ramsey personality Christina Ellis, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Hey, I know we get a lot of new listeners to the show, and if you are new to the show, you want to learn more about these baby steps we're always talking about, you want to know how to get started on the Ramsey way, you can go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. If you're on your desktop computer, you'll see that in the top right. If you're on mobile, just hit the menu and you'll see it right there at the bottom. It'll say Get Started. Our team has created this tool to help you figure out the best next step based on your specific situation. So you answer a few quick questions, and we're going to guide you to the best resources, the best tools to get you started on the path. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started. Let's go to Andrew over in Phoenix, Arizona. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I've listened to your show for a few years, and it's cool to be the caller.
It's like you're inside of the Matrix, man. Welcome. It's a good time. We're happy to have you. How can we help today?
Thank you. So my question, first of all, is just what the next best financial step would be to take. I'm recently married. We just got married a few months ago.
Congrats.
And we're currently, our household income is around $70,000. I'm planning on starting a master's degree in August, where we'll have to move states for that. And we're planning on cash flowing that whole thing. We don't want to take any debt for that.
Good.
And so basically, should we kind of try and start maybe step 4, or maybe start on what I've heard you call a 3B, saving for a down payment for a home, or just focus on maybe renting for a while?
So you guys have no debt, and you have the fully funded emergency fund currently?
Yeah, we have about $50,000 in savings, and then $10,000 in an index fund currently.
Great. And will that cover the master's degree without touching the emergency fund? Or do you need to continue saving for that?
Yeah, it will, and that'll cost around $25,000 just for the tuition, and we'll probably save up around $40,000 more before we have to move.
So $25,000 total for the whole master's degree. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What's the program?
Yeah. It's public administration.
Cool. And is that something that you just want to seek out to get a different job or a different career? What's driving that?
Yeah. I graduated in biochemistry, and I want to be more in like healthcare administration, something more business related. So that program just would allow me to gain some of those skills in accounting and other leadership skills.
And where do you have to move?
It's up to Salt Lake.
Wow. And your wife is cool with this?
Yeah, she's cool with it. She's actually here with me. She just bought me a whole bunch of the books for Christmas and stuff. So
what a lady. That's awesome. And is that going to affect her job?
Yeah, so she actually just works from home right now, just part-time, so she can kind of do it anywhere.
Okay.
And what about you? The $70K, will you continue making $70K while you're in school?
No, so I actually can't work the first semester. It's a commitment we have to make to enter the program, but then the next 3 semesters I can, but I'm not sure what I'll be making.
Okay.
So
And
that's something to think about for sure if you guys have a giant dip in income. Because how much is she making working from home part-time?
She's making around 25 right now.
Out of the 70?
Yeah.
Okay.
and have you all figured out your budget with the new city? Because Salt Lake, is that going to be a pretty
expensive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. We've kind of estimated that right now we're only spending about 30% of what we're earning. It's pretty cheap down here. We'll probably be spending closer to 60% that first semester that I'm not able to work.
Here's a question, Andrew. Could you find a program that is either local or online that would check off the same box?
They have some online programs. The tuition's a lot higher, and this program is kind of something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm sure there would be more local programs, but maybe in like U of A or something like that. But
I'm just wondering if there's one that you could do online. You could start now and keep your income. And so you could keep your household income at 70, keep your living expenses low. You could do all of this without having to move as newlyweds.
Well, also, Andrew, is part of this that you want to move? Like, is Salt Lake somewhere where you want to go? Is that part of this equation?
yeah, it is somewhere we want to go and kind of get a new experience for the next couple of years before we start a family.
Okay, so it's, partial for fun.
It's an adventure, the
Right.
newlywed adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I would
Yeah.
just do my due diligence and figure out what it's going to cost to live out there. What does life look like if we go down to $25,000? How are we going to afford life out there so that this is an exciting move that's moving you forward instead of looking back with regret, going, oh my gosh, what have we done?
Yeah, and George, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm in your shoes, I'm just saving cash right now. Like, I'm not worried about investing it right now. I'm not worried about putting it somewhere. I'm just saving it, one, to make sure that I can graduate debt-free. You know, there's a lot of factors that can play into things. A lot of expected expenses can pop up. So I would just want to make sure I have plenty of money for that. And then also, you know, that first semester in Salt Lake, it may be a lot more expensive than you factor in. And, you know, you've got the 50 and the 10 and the emergency funds in there and the $25K in tuition. But with all those factors, you're still kind of close on it. So I would be saving as much as I can right now just to make sure that we're good.
And that dream of home ownership will come, but I would want you out of the master's program, figure out where you guys are going to live long term, then we can start looking at homes. And the bigger pile of money you have, the sooner you can make that happen.
And the good news is that high yield savings accounts, they're making great interest rates right now.
Like almost at 4%.
Yeah, we looked into that as well, maybe some kind of CD or something for the next few years, because the money we make in the next 6 months will pay for all of school, so we'll have that just kind of sitting around if we're going to be renting.
And one thing to think about, Andrew, with that index fund, if you're going to need that money soon, I would move that to a high-yield savings account, even over a CD, because that will keep it liquid. We call them certificates of depression. And right now, that high-yield savings account will get you about as good of a rate, if not higher, than any CD out there. So good things to think about. Do some more homework, but it sounds like you're making the right moves and doing it without any debt. We love that. Let's move on to Joseph in Cadillac, Michigan. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, George and Christina, and thank you very much for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
Just a little bit of a backstory here. December 30th of last year, I paid my truck off, and I am now officially debt-free.
Woohoo!
Paid
Awesome.
off a little over $45,000 in about 5 months.
Way to go.
Thank you very much. My question today is, I live in a double wide on 20 acres with a barn, and within the next 2 to 3 years, I plan on moving, and I only owe $54,000 on my mortgage. And my question is, should I treat this as baby step 2 and just get this paid off? That way, when I go to sell the house, I can just use the profit from the sale towards the next home, or should I just continue on to baby step 3?
So right now you have the debt paid off, but you have no emergency fund.
Correct. Yep, I just started, actually, my last paycheck, I just started my emergency fund.
Okay, cool. I would continue on with that emergency fund because in the midst of you trying to pay off this mortgage, life's going to happen. And the mortgage is very different from the consumer debt. And so I would just continue on with the baby steps, put that in baby step 6. So begin investing after you've got the emergency fund, any money left over beyond that. Let's start attacking that mortgage. And you can still do all that. What's your income?
It ranges anywhere from like 85 to 120, depending on overtime.
Love it. I mean, if you paid off $45K in 5 months, once you've got the emergency fund, you're investing 15%, you could probably still pay off your mortgage within, 8 months?
Yeah, probably. If I got gazelle intense with it, I probably could.
I love it. I would just set that for a goal for the year. Say, hey, how cool would it be if by the end of 2023, I've got obviously no consumer debt already, I've got a fully funded emergency fund, I'm investing 15% toward my future, and I don't have a mortgage payment.
Perfect. Awesome. That sounds great. Thank you so much for answering my question, then.
Absolutely, Joseph. I got excited just thinking about it, Christina.
Right?
I'm pumped for Joseph.
That's pretty exciting. And even if he went half that pace, he could still have this paid off.
That's true.
By
But
3 or 4
He seems
years.
like a driven guy. He paid off $45K in 5 months. I'm like,
It's
he's not
impressive.
fooling around.
It's impressive.
I love it. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to my co-host, Christina Ellis, all the folks in the booth, Austin, Ben, James, Zach, and Andrew, and you, America. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back real soon. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined this hour by my colleague Christina Ellis, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Now, before we get into the calls here, I want to mention that if you enjoy this show, I want to remind you that it is free. And so here's the only thing I ask in return. You don't have to Venmo me. Here's all I ask. Leave us a review, subscribe to the show, and share it with a friend. Wherever you're listening, whatever platform, there's about a bajillion of them out there. We would so appreciate that. We want to spread this hope to so many more people in 2023, and you are the way we do that, through word of mouth. That's how this happens. Let's kick off the hour with Lori in Kansas City. Lori, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Thank you so much. So I'm calling because I'm in baby step 7, yay.
Woo-hoo.
And I have a 1950s home that is in desperate need of some remodeling just to make it more livable. My only concern about doing remodeling that I want to do, I don't want to make my house the most expensive house in the neighborhood because Dave says not to. It's going to be harder to get the money back. There are homes in my neighborhood that some have a basement and some do not. So I don't know how to look at the overall view of the values of homes in my area to just get a good price point as to how much I can invest in the remodeling of my home.
Are you planning on selling it, or are you going to live there for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, it's supposed to be my forever home, that exists.
Okay. Well, that changes the way I look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
If
what
it
kind
is.
of remodels are we talking about?
So the kitchen is original, and it doesn't have a dining kitchen. So I'm wanting to open up a wall for the sunroom that has been finished in, to expand that and to add some storage in there. It'll make the house a lot more comfortable.
And anything else, or is that the only renovation?
I mean, dreaming big, I'm going to put in a faux deck in the back and a hot tub. But pretty
Party
much.
on.
That's it.
Party at Lori's.
Yeah.
Love it. So have you gotten
That financial
estimates?
freedom's great, yeah?
Yeah, you got the money to do it. What is the home worth?
I bought it at $130. The house just down the street sold for $209, but it also has a basement. So that's also another thing. I don't really know if that factors in too much in the value of the home.
So you think the home might be worth around $200 now?
That would be ambitious, but yes.
Okay.
And how much are these renovations going to cost? Just the kitchen
I don't know yet.
specifically. Okay.
I haven't gotten that far.
Okay. So still getting quotes.
Right.
Yeah, to make this less of an emotional decision, I would just do some due diligence, get in touch with some contractors, get in touch with a real estate agent, and say, hey, I'm going to do these remodels. The remodels that I want to do, it's going to cost, $25,000 to do it the way I want to do it. Will that increase my home value by roughly that? Now, if you're going to stay there for a long time, it just matters less and less about the ROI. Mm-hmm. It's okay. If Lori wants it and then Lori can get it, just know that you may not ROI on that remodel, and that's okay.
Okay.
So now if it's going to cost $150,000 to do these renovations, I'm just going to move at that point,
Yeah, no way.
It's not like you live in $1 million neighborhood, and so you want to just take that into account when you're doing these renovations. There's a lot of things you can do that are kind of a no-demo renovation. Things like paint, lighting, front door, smart home upgrades, landscaping. There's a lot you can do without tearing down walls and all that. But I would get some quotes, and if it's reasonable and you're cash flowing it, it's okay if you don't get the dime for dime ROI on that investment.
Okay. Can I ask one more quick question, completely unrelated?
Sure.
Let's go.
It's Lori's show now.
So I used to be a teacher, and so I hear you guys talking about teachers being like the third most common millionaires. Is that because they're also married?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know how that was taken into account in the study regarding marriage.
What? Yeah, I don't know about married, but I know that Dave has talked about how teachers are such great planners. They're great with lesson plans. They're great at working students through plans. So when they see a plan, they tend to follow it. They follow the baby steps. They do it without question. They're diligent. They stick with it. They're able to stick with it for 10 to 15 years. So I know that that's a huge factor in it.
And from what I gather, there's a lot of great retirement benefits for teachers out there. And so that also, they know about that. And so when they get into the field, they're hopefully, they're not trying to keep up with the Joneses driving luxury cars into the school. And so they've just got good heads on their shoulders where they go, I'm going to live on less than I make. I'm trying to just stay alive here with all these kids. I'm not trying to impress anyone. And I think that causes you to make different decisions financially.
Lori, I'm curious, why do you ask that question? Do you have a special insight?
Yeah.
Are you married?
I mean, I was a teacher for 6 years, and I struggled. Oh, my gosh. It was really, really hard. Of course, this was pre-Dave Ramsey, but the only thing that really did save me is they mandated that I contribute 11% into the retirement fund. And so
that's
now,
part of
looking back, I'm so thankful because that compound interest is working in my favor.
Yeah, if mom makes you eat the vegetables, you're eating vegetables, and you're going to be healthier because of it. And so that's part of the deal. Are you married?
No.
Are you on the path to becoming a baby steps millionaire?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I love it.
That's awesome. Well, Lori, you're doing great. I'm excited for the home renovations, the hot tub. I mean, that's the new American dream, is the hot tub.
Right? That's the life. That's like one of my go-tos when we're looking on Airbnb or VRBO. It's like, does it have a hot tub?
Oh, and Christina, you are in the home buying process. Are you thinking about these kinds of things when it comes to renovations? And Dave always says, we can look past paint colors and ugly carpet. So when you're looking for a home, you don't want to make the decision just based on what the photos look like necessarily.
Oh, gosh, there's so many factors to it. And I mean, I've definitely had moments in looking at houses the last few weeks where it's like you see so many investors in the market right now who are flipping properties. And it's like, I don't want to spend an extra $100,000 because they picked out the carpet and they picked out the paint. It's like, give me, the lower price and let me fix it up. I don't want to spend that extra money because we're going to DIY a bunch of that.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Well, Slate is very rock and roll. This guy can do it all.
We're super frugal. Like, we want to save the money. We don't want to pay premium for all those upgrades.
That's true. See, I wanted to get in a place in life where we could just hire the handyman for $50 an hour, and we just ate ice cream watching him put up the floating wood shelf. And I got to tell you, that was luxurious.
That's that baby step 7 life, George.
There's something about watching someone else do hard work while you don't that feels good.
Oh.
You're just like, it's not me.
That's
pretty awesome.
The dream. You mean you're not a handyman?
I can hang up pictures, and I'm on the tech side. So I will set up the entire smart home and all the gadgets and gizmos and the Wi-Fi, but I don't want to be out there, doing drywall. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
My parents didn't immigrate to this country so I could do drywall. I want to support a local handyman to do all of that.
There you go.
So there it is. More of your calls coming up on the Ramsey Show. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. We will talk about your life and your money and help you take that right next step in your financial future.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality, co-host of this show, of course, but also Smart Money Happy Hour with our friend Rachel Cruz. I'm joined this hour by Christina Ellis, taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Now, Christina, you are doing this hashtag no spend challenge in January, and you've taken a lot of people along for the ride over on your Instagram, and I need the update. Have you been successful?
Whew, we are doing it, and we are succeeding so far.
So for people that don't know what the no spend challenge is, how do you explain it? Because it's not, you obviously have to pay the bills. We're not saying don't pay your mortgage.
Yes, you still pay the four walls, food, utilities, shelter, transportation, but you try to cut out all discretionary spending. So, you pay your needs, but you don't do any wants.
Discretionary feels squishy.
Oh my gosh. So it's everything that's, is it bad that I want to say it's everything that's fun? So it's all the things that you don't technically need.
Anything you're excited to spend money on is probably discretionary.
Right. No eating out, no shopping. And for us, we're also trying to cut back on our grocery budget. So we've given ourselves $100 a week to spend.
In today's economy?
I know, George.
Wow.
I know. So it's really challenging us. You sit down before you do this, you look at your budget and you go through every line item and say, is this a need? Is this essential to living my life? And if it's not, we cut it out. We cut out our miscellaneous budget. We cut out shopping. We cut out makeup. We cut out all the things. I mean, granted, if I start looking kind of awkward on the show, it's because I ran out of something and that's all I got for the month, y'all.
A lot of people go, well, Christina, the drive-through on my way to work is essential. I need it for my survival to get through the day.
Is it? Is it really now?
Oh, Christina just called you out.
Oh, man. Y'all, and I only call you out because I am feeling the pain. Like, I am feeling the pain right now.
What's been the biggest temptation for you guys?
I mean, our grocery budget was getting pretty out of control. It was a bit ridiculous. And I think it's easy, we're on baby steps 4 through 6. It's easy for your budget to start getting kind of fluffy and squishy. And so, we're saving money to pay off a house. It's easy to go, you know what? Inflation, we're just going to move a little money into our grocery budget to increase it just a little bit. And all of a sudden we look at our budget and we're like, this is nuts. We should not be spending this much money on groceries. And so we've really had to sit down and strategize and think through, how can we still eat healthy, but eat for $100 or less a week. And so far, we've only spent $45 the first week and $38 the second week.
Are your kids getting skinny? What are we feeding them? Like ice cubes and a gust of wind? How are you doing this?
Now, part of the challenge is also using pantry items. So we've been bad about food waste. You know, we were busy. We have a 1 and a 4-year-old. We're running around. Some days we're just trying to survive. So it's easy to just be like, this is what we're eating this week and we're going to buy what we need. And then we go through our pantry and we throw away a trash bag full of stuff that we could have eaten, but it went bad. So it's like really challenging us to think through, you know, how can we use what we already have? How can we be super strategic and just use what we have? Go to the grocery store with a meal plan, with a list, shop sales, and just really cut it back. And I'm learning so much through this because it's like, wait, we can eat on about $400 a month. Like
as a family of 4.
As a family of 4, it's been really eye-opening. It's challenging, but forcing yourself to not have another option and to really cut back and break some of the bad habits has been huge. Another big thing is eating out. We hit this spot Friday night where we're rushing around, we're trying to go to the gym. You know, I worked all day, and we just had this moment where we're like, yeah, we'll just grab food on the way home. And it's like, no, we won't. And the thing is, we had leftovers in the fridge. We were able to cook something up in 10 minutes. We saved $30 that on a different month, we would have just been like, yeah, we'll just buy food on the way out. It's easy.
I found out, Christina, there are people out there who are just anti-leftovers. They just refuse to eat it.
Whoa. We are not those people.
Now, but here's the thing. If you're broke, you don't have a choice.
Right.
Like you're eating those leftovers. And in the Camel household, Mama Camel, we had leftovers. That was this line of when we went past any drive-through and I tried to, you know, I made my case to go to the drive-through. What do they say? We've got food at home.
Exactly.
That's the line that shut everything down.
We have food at home. Well, and the thing is some of these meals, so I put out a meal plan on my Instagram, kind of walking through what we're doing, what our family's eating this month. And there are several meals that were like $7. So it's like, even if you don't like leftovers, if you're willing to be strategic, if you're willing to take 10 minutes to cook, you know, you can do that. And here's the thing, I don't like cooking. Like, I'm not going to be the person that puts out like recipes or things like that because that's just not my thing. I want things that are super easy and super simple. So I think a lot of people may resist and go, well, I have to eat out on Tuesday night because we've got soccer and we've got band and we got to do all these things. But there are plenty of recipes that you can cook quick. You can do it in the morning. You can do it over lunch and get it done and out of the way so you can save money. But
no excuses.
No excuses. It's just about prioritizing.
And you see the margin and that keeps you going because now you want to keep this up.
It's super exciting. And I know a lot of you are doing it with me. And it's super exciting seeing your messages, seeing how you're carving out space in your budget, how you started the year thinking, you know, I'm not going to be able to pay off my student loan. I'm not going to be able to save my emergency fund. But when you get that momentum and you look through your budget and you go, wow, I'm spending way more than I thought I was on silly things, on stupid things that don't really matter, then you can cut it back and you can see that progress. But I will say we are reaching that time in the month, both with the no spend challenge and just with goals in general, where people start giving up. I was reading a bunch of articles about like the cliche times people give up on their New Year's resolutions or they give up on challenges. For 30-day challenges, days 10 and 11 tend to be when people give up. And then for resolutions, there's actually a fitness app that was kind of making fun of people and they called January 17th the give up day.
Wow.
It's like the cliche day.
Called out.
Right? And then the 19th is what another study found. So it's like if you have goals right now, if you have resolutions, if you're doing the challenge with me and you're starting to feel discouraged, this is the time to push through. This is the time to buckle down. Look at your plan again. If you didn't have a plan, create a plan. If you don't have a calendar where you're checking off your progress, do that. If you don't have the goal planner that George put out with the team, you know, have that. But get clear on those goals and really press in. This is the time. Get the tools
and accountability you need.
Yeah. This is the time where it's hard. If it's hard, I'm right there with you.
I love it.
We can do this.
Well, keep it up, inspiring us all to greatness. Eric is up next in Mesa, Arizona. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Well, I'm trying to determine if my wife and I need life insurance at the life stage that we're in.
Okay. Where are you guys at?
Basically, I'm 57, she's 52. Our house is paid for. We've got, I would argue, a substantial amount of money in various retirement vehicles.
How much is your nest egg combined?
For retirement, we're somewhere in the neighborhood. Well, last year it was more. Now it's down to probably $1.5 million.
Okay. And kids, are they in the picture?
They're grown. We just spoil the grandkids now.
Oh, I love it. And do you have life insurance currently?
We did up until 2 months ago. We had term life insurance where we were carrying basically $500K on each of us. The term expired. Now our age and everything has changed, so the rates are now astronomical. So I decided to let it lapse. We both are employed still, so we can get some life insurance through work at a reasonable price. But obviously, if we decide to retire or quit, then that goes away. So I'm just trying to determine whether we actually need it at this point in the game.
You don't, my friend. You are what we call self-insured.
Okay.
Because no one is relying on your income except your spouse, correct?
Right.
And so if something happened to Eric, she's going to be okay because she's got $1.5 million to live off of. And so if you just invest a portion of that, pull off a portion of that, she's going to be okay. And so that's the whole goal of this plan, and you are a great picture of that, a poster child, if you will, for being self-insured and following these steps.
Okay. Well,
do you feel the peace? You got $1.5 million in the bank. That $500,000 policy was a third of that.
Well, based on the current administration and their spending habits, I still don't feel that comfortable.
Well, I can't give you confidence in the White House, Eric. I don't think anyone can. But the good news is you've taken control of your house, and you've done so well investing for the future. You've got no debt, very little risk in your life, and so you can sleep easy knowing you're self-insured. Very proud of you guys. Way to go following these steps. The number to call is 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 40% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com for more information.
Welcome back, America. This is your show, 888-825-5225. We want to help you take the right next step with your money. If you're not where you want to be financially, you need a second opinion, that's not your broke brother-in-law, we are here for you. Peter joins us up next in Charlottesville, Virginia. Peter, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jordan, Christina. An honor to speak with you guys. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Oh, we appreciate that. How can we help today?
So my wife and I, my wife is 25, I'm 24. We have an 8-month-old baby, and we have been married for almost 2 years now, coming up on our 2-year anniversary. And we've been saving for a home those whole 2 years. And I spoke with a SmartVestor Pro about whether or not we should start investing for retirement or save for a home about 1.5 years ago, and they suggested we save for the home. Problem is we've only been able to save about $8,000 for a home in those 2 years, and it's just feeling like no matter what we do, no matter how simply we try to live and save for a home down payment, We're just not able to make any traction. Wondering if you have any advice for us.
Well, good on your SmartVestor Pro for telling you to save up for the down payment instead of invest, because most financial planners out there are going to say, hey, you should absolutely invest. Why would we waste your time and money saving up for that down payment? And so that's awesome. And I do think 2 years would be the max. I would go, all right, we got to start investing because we also need to take care of our future. And you can continue saving up for that down payment. Obviously, it's going to slow you down a bit to reduce it by 15%, right?
Yeah, significantly.
But I don't think the 15% is the issue here. It sounds like we have an income problem. What's the household income?
So my wife is at home with the baby, but I make $46,000 a year.
What do you do?
And that I am a leader on a landscaping crew.
Cool.
So my income is going up, and I'm very satisfied in my job. I love what I do, and I want to stick here. I've thought a lot about switching jobs to make more money, but I'm working a lot of overtime as much as I can. But the biggest problem is that my wife and I are also in ministry at our church, so that takes evenings and stuff like that where I would be able to make more income.
Are you on staff at the church, or is it volunteer-based?
It's volunteer.
Okay, and with the overtime, is it primarily with your full-time job?
It's with all of my full-time job.
So what's your base salary before you do the overtime?
$22 an hour.
Okay, what about, you said that you love the full-time job, but how about doing like a side hustle where you're building the clientele and you're making a little bit more money outside that full-time job?
I've done some of that. I'm decently handy, and I've done several handyman jobs here and there. Biggest thing is finding time out of our schedule to do it.
I would back off of the volunteer ministry for a season in order to step up the side work and get that income up, and then we can step back into it once we're closer to the goal. Would you be able to do that?
Okay. Possibly, yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying. I mean, the handyman work, I've hired lots of handymen. We just talked about this. And you can easily make $50 to $75 to $90 an hour doing handyman work. Now, obviously, your area, it depends on your neighborhood, your area. But if you just become the neighborhood handyman and you get in the Facebook group and you say, hey, I'm here, here's my hourly rate, call me. It's amazing how much work you'll get just doing that. And you could double your income. I mean, you're making 22, you could easily charge 50 an hour.
And there's a huge need for it now. I feel like people right now are like clamoring after handymen. We've had neighbors and people posting on Facebook where they're like, I can't find anybody who does quality work, who has integrity, and will show up. So it's like if you are that guy, if you get that reputation, you could develop a really great business.
Are you guys doing a monthly budget together?
We are, yes. We went through financial peace several months ago, and we had been kind of on a ish budget up to that point, and we've been cutting everything down as much as we can. And Christina, we're actually hoping to in February do the no spend month.
Yes. Yes, let's go.
That will be eye-opening for sure. Because the question is, you saved $8K in 2 years, and so dividing that out, the math just hurts my brain going, wait, how is that possible that you were only saving, $300 a month? Where is the rest of this? You have a decent income here, so where is the rest of it going? Once you guys started doing the budget, where are the money leaks happening?
So it was happening a lot on impulse spending, and just living comfortably is where it was. And like 3 months ago, we really started pulling our pants up and saying we really need to get somewhere with this. We're almost 2 years into this and only saved up about $8,000.
Okay. Well, it sounds like things have changed, and that's great. So I'm going to begin investing 15% of my income. Beyond that, I'm going to go, what is the goal we have for this down payment? We have 8. I need to get to 25, 30. Okay, that means we've got a $22,000 gap that I need to fill in the next 2 years. That's my goal. Can I make $11,000 extra a year to put into the savings account? And the answer is yes. Because this side job alone, $50 an hour doing handyman work, and you work 10 hours a week. That's $500 extra every single week.
Well, and I love that you're doing both, because one of the biggest things, it's like you need to stop the bleeding. So many people immediately go to, getting another job and adding more income. But it's like, if you don't stop the bleeding, if you don't get control of your spending, then you're just going to keep upping that budget. It's going to be, a lack of discipline, and it's just going to bleed out. So the fact that you're doing the no spend challenge, that you're going to face the bad habits, that you're going to tighten in, and you're going to increase your income, that's where you're really going to see some progress and momentum.
So I would sit down with your wife, Peter, and say, hey, I want to make sure that I set our family up for success financially. I want us to be homeowners, and I don't want it to be 10 years from now. Here's my plan. I'm going to scale back on the volunteering at the church. I'm going to up my side income. I'm going to start this kind of side handyman business. Here's how much I'm going to charge. Here's how much I'm going to work, and that will create this much extra income for us. You think she'd be cool with that?
Sure. Oh, yeah. She's definitely on board. We're in this together.
I love it. Well, I think that's going to change the game for you guys. And once you do it and you see the progress in a month and 2 months, I mean, if we're talking the numbers I just threw out there, that handyman gig alone at 10 hours, that's $2,000 extra a month. That's $24,000 a year. Do you start to see how this stuff compounds and changes the numbers?
Yeah, wow. I didn't really do the math on that.
That's inspiring stuff when you do the math, and it's to your benefit. And so, man, I'm cheering you on. This is an awesome thing. And again, the folks in the trades, if you are handy and you're good with your hands, you can make so much money. And I know that because I've given a lot of that money to them, and I'm happy to, because I don't want to deal with it. And people like Peter, they love it. They live for it. And don't discount the value that you have, especially if you're in those spaces, and don't discount how much a side hustle can impact your life. And a lot of people say, well, I already work too hard. But man, it becomes addictive. Once you go, I can make $300 on an evening just doing that? Changing light bulbs? Oh my goodness, sign me up.
Right. Well, and with the trades, you're always going to have a job. Like, there's always going to be somebody like George who wants to hire you.
Thank you, Christina. I'm happily supporting the trades. Because, right. I mean, you talk about electricians and plumbers and HVAC. These are things that people are willing to pay others for.
And pay premium.
It will never be automated by the robots. I'm sorry. So that is very encouraging for those in the trades. And people in Peter's situation where you go, we're doing the baby steps. We're not making the traction we should be. We're discouraged. Start to look at those numbers and start to do the math and say, if we cut these expenses, that's $50 a month. All right, it doesn't sound like much, but that's $600 a year. And now what else could we do to bring in more income? Well, if we bring $500 extra bucks a month, that's $6,000 a year. And then you really start to feel the progress, and you're motivated to do it because you see the results.
Yeah, it's fun to just have a dream session. Like, a lot of people don't think numbers can be exciting, but when you see them add up and you see the impact over time, that'll get you pretty stoked.
I love it. And if you want to know this plan, you're like, what are they talking about? 3B, the 2, and the... We've got a really great resource for you on RamseySolutions.com. Click on the Get Started button. And after taking a few questions, we're going to throw a bunch of tools and resources at you and teach you this Ramsey plan that has helped so many people get out of debt, build wealth, and feel like they are in control of their money for the very first time. And we are cheering you on in that process in 2023. More of The Ramsey Show coming up. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. About this time of year, we get flooded with calls on the show because everyone is looking for a fresh start with their money, especially after a tough couple of years. So if that's you, you can't wish for things to change and expect it to happen. You've got to do some things differently when it comes to your money. You got to have a plan, and we teach you that plan in Financial Peace University. This is the course that will help you rethink how you manage your money, and you'll learn step by step how to pay off debt and how to build wealth. And here's the crazy part. Nearly 10 million people have now gone through FPU. They followed this plan, and they've changed their lives. I'm one of those people. This stuff works. Don't try to reinvent it. I tried George's plan back in the day. that didn't get me very far. But Dave Ramsey's original plan, the OG, 30 years now, 10 million people, it's hard to beat that. And when you intentionally follow this plan with focus intensity, this year will be different. You'll have more peace in your finances and your life. So go start Financial Peace University right now at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Open phones this hour at 888-825-5225. Kalina joins us up next in Chattanooga. Kalina, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So my husband and I just started the baby steps. We're in baby step 2, and we have 2 vehicles. One has a loan. We know we're selling that one. But the second one is paid for, and I'm just trying to determine if we need to sell it or not.
Okay, what's your household income?
We bring home about $7,000 to $8,000 a month.
Okay. And what are these cars worth?
Well, the one that's got the loan, it has $27,000 on it. It's worth about $34,000. And so we've already listed that one, but the one that's paid off,
okay,
$1,000.
And why are you wanting to sell the paid off car?
Well, because I don't know. I guess I was trying to go gazelle. I guess intense. Just thinking that I could get something cheaper and take the equity and pay off something. So
what other debt do you have?
Well, we have about $150,000 in consumer debt.
Okay, list some of that out for me. Is that on top of the car loans, or is that total?
No, well, that's with the car loan. Yeah, that's
okay.
Total.
What else?
So we've got some personal loans, some credit cards, some student loans. Yep.
Now, you're taking home $96,000 a year, about 80-90, or is that gross?
Yeah, we're taking home that. No, gross we're closer to 120, 130 probably.
Okay, so the question is, how quickly will you pay off that 150 going gazelle intense? Have you guys done the math on that, or used our debt snowball calculator?
We've signed up for the FPU, and so I've put our debts in there, and right now it's saying like September of 2026.
Whoa.
Right. And I don't like that. So, it was just saying that, and I think I just put like minimum payments or something in there.
Okay.
So, and that has the truck in it too that we're selling. So once that comes off, I know it'll drop.
And are you both working full time right now?
Yes, I'm a teacher. My husband does HVAC. So
can either of you work overtime to increase your income?
Well, I'm going to take on whatever homebounds I get, which will help, and then do some after-school tutoring.
Awesome.
We have 2 little ones as well, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
What are their ages?
3 and 5. So.
Okay, so they're still not in school. You're still in the thick of it.
Do you like this paid-off car?
I love my car. My car is a paid-off one. It's a 4Runner. I love it. But it's got 140,000 miles on it. So, kind of one of those things. Am I going to find something, equally reliable that I don't have to worry about?
If I'm in your shoes, I'm not selling it. It's paid for. You're not going to free up a payment here. And if you guys sell this truck, my goal would be for you guys to be completely debt-free in 2 years.
That's mine too.
And so reverse engineer that and go, okay, after the truck is sold, that takes our debt from 150 down to 125. All right, how quickly can we pay off 125, making 120? All right, well, let's see if we can throw $60,000 a year at this debt then, right?
Right.
And so now we start doing the math and going, that's $5,000 a month. How do we find $5,000 worth of margin in our budget every single month? What would we have to do? We'd have to cut expenses for sure.
Right.
Probably have to sell more stuff.
We started the budget on the app you guys have with the
on every dollar
free trial. Yep, the 3-month free trial that came with the FPU. So I started that this month. I'm still kind of figuring it out. There's a lot of things in there.
Yeah, it takes about 90 days to dial in that budget. But the key is to do it every month, track your spending, figure out where we went wrong. Oh, we thought we were going to spend $500 on food. Turns out we spent $600, and really I think we could get it down to $400 because we were a little bit lackadaisical with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a little bit to get that piece dialed in. But I think with your income and working overtime and selling this truck, you're willing to do the right things. So now it just becomes a game of math. And it kind of gets addictive where you go, all right, we're able to do $4,000 this month on the debt. How can we get to $4,500 and then to $5,000 and $5,500?
Well, and I love that you're calling to even ask that question. We're saying, don't sell it. But the fact that you're calling and saying, I am ready to get so gazelle intense that I will sell things, I will do whatever it takes to get rid of this debt. Keep that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm done.
She is done.
I'm over the debt.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love it.
My husband's on board, but he's not quite as intense as I am right now. So.
Oh, well, he better be watching those Financial Peace University videos with you, creating the budget with you. That's a huge part of this, and he needs to see the math too and go, here's how much we're throwing away to lenders and interest. Here's how much we could be investing and building wealth, and here's how much more quickly we could pay this off if we get intense. So thank you so much for the call. Love that you guys are going through Financial Peace University.
And I love to hear that I've had it moment. Like that is when people succeed. Whenever they've had that moment where they're like, I'm so sick of it. I am willing to have a yard sale. I'm willing to sell the truck. I'm willing to do what it takes to get rid of that debt.
That's an amazing feeling. And you could hear it in her voice. I'm done. I'm done. We were living La Vida Loca, and we went $150,000 into consumer debt, and we looked good, and we felt terrible. It's amazing how that works. The better you look without actually owning anything, and the more payments you have in your life, the worse you actually feel behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I think that there's, like she said, she's in the first month of budgeting. So she's had the I've had it moment, and now it's where the rubber meets the road, and she's got to start budgeting. And that part can be really hard. There's a lot of people who, they get on every dollar, they try it for the first month, and they're like, I'm not good at budgeting. But I just want you to know that a lot of people feel that way. I would venture to say most people feel that way. Like a lot of people are just not natural budgeters, but you have to stay with it. It's like working out. The first time, if I went out and tried to run a mile right now, I would struggle, but
you'd still beat me. So that's good news.
Maybe that may not be the best example. But keep at it, because over time you will get better. It's like anything you try to do for the first time. Like, don't expect to be amazing the first month, but over time you will get better. It will feel easier, and you'll get the hang of it.
I love it. And a huge part of budgeting, you're looking in the financial mirror, and that's scary, and sometimes it makes you want to throw up. But that first step of just showing up and being willing to actually look at your money and go, where did it go? I'm working so hard. What is all this for? We make $60,000 a year. Where did it go? And you start to look at your bank transactions, and those little things start to add up, and you forgot about that bill, and you didn't pay attention to that, and then you got emotional, you were tired, there was some retail therapy, I wanted to eat out, I want. And when we act like children like that, we end up real broke and miserable.
Right.
But doing that budget for the first time and going, oh, that's not pretty. I got to change the way I spend on food. I want to start cooking at home like Christina, spending $45 a week on groceries for a family of 4. Turns out you can do it. It's a choice, and it's a great reminder.
It's a great reminder, and it's hard. I mean, there are emotional parts of those first few months where you're like, man, this is like kind of embarrassing that I spent this much on groceries. It's kind of embarrassing that I spent this much on shopping. But it's like, we all make dumb decisions with money at some point. Own it and then change it.
Yeah, we can't walk around with that baggage and shame. We just got to move forward and go, all right, the good news is I can change. God gave me that ability, and it's wonderful. So thank you so much, Christina. Great hour of The Ramsey Show. It's another one in the books. We'll be back real soon.
Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality, joined this hour by my colleague, Christina Ellis, and we are here for you, America, taking your calls about life and money. 888-825-5225. Let's get to the phones. Elizabeth is in Toronto, Canada. All right, Elizabeth, how you doing?
Hi, George. Hi, Christina. I enjoy watching the both of you. Great dynamics on YouTube.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
What an honor to talk with you. How can we help today?
Thank you. So I'm calling because my question is around, should I pay off my HELOC or should I pay off down my mortgage? And the reason being is that my mortgage is $119,000, paying 7%. It came due in December 1st of last year, and I decided not to renew it until I figured out what I'm going to do with it. So right now I'm paying $2,033. That includes mortgage insurance. Whereas the HELOC, it's $77,500 and odd dollars. I have the money to pay off the HELOC, except that if I paid off, it's locked in. It's a variable rate locked in over 5 years. I've already done a year and a half into that. And I'm thinking if I had to break it, it's going to cost me to pay it off. It's going to cost me about $1,500, a little over $1,500. So I'm thinking I know you guys say consumers debt, get rid of it, particularly the HELOC, but I'm thinking I'm paying right now $772 per month on the HELOC. I doubled the payment to deal with the inflation, but with the mortgage, what I'm thinking, I'm paying $2,033, and if I were to pay down $77,000 on that $119,000, obviously would be less, and I'll free up some more money faster to pay down the mortgage this year, and then I could focus on throwing all of the extra money as well as the money once I pay off the mortgage towards the HELOC.
So how much money do you have?
Your advice on that.
How much money do you have saved up right now?
I have $77,000. It could be a little more.
Okay, so the only downside to paying off this HELOC is this $1,500 penalty stupid tax.
Yes.
I'm taking that deal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it frees up.
All right.
You're freeing up almost $800 a month, number one, and that would come before the mortgage as far as payoff anyways. What's your income?
I make $115,000.
Awesome. Great income.
And does that $77,000, does that include your emergency fund, or is there a separate fund for that?
No, it's separate.
Okay, great.
So you already have the emergency fund?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm clear on this.
I'm using the emergency fund on an old car that I have and keep, replenishing it. So, yes.
Do you have any other debt other than this HELOC and the mortgage?
No.
Okay, so think about this plan. You pay off the HELOC today. You still have your emergency fund intact. Now we can attack that $119,000 mortgage with your $115,000 income. How quickly do you think you could pay off the mortgage? Within a few years?
Well, I gave myself to be debt-free in 2 years.
Ooh. I love this plan. And so getting rid of this HELOC is going to help you get there.
And that's something you can do pretty much today, right? You have $77,000 saved. That's amazing. That's going to feel so good.
I'm super excited about you being free from this thing today. Does that include the $1,500 stupid tax?
No, that's extra.
Okay. So do you need to have that before you can pay this off in full?
Yes. I can get that.
Let's pull from your savings to get rid of this today.
I have a little part-time job on the side.
Okay, great. And you've got extra money in the bank outside of the 77 you mentioned, right?
Just not a whole lot, but something. Not a whole lot.
Okay.
No.
How much is in your emergency fund?
My emergency fund, I only have $1,000.
Oh, okay. So it's not the fully funded emergency fund.
No.
Okay.
You mean for 6 months?
Yes. So that would be your next goal.
No.
We're not going to be ready to start attacking the mortgage. We need to pay off this HELOC. Then we're going to be fully funding that emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of expenses. Then we can begin investing 15%. Are you doing any investing right now?
No, I'm not doing any investing, and I'm getting close to retirement. I'm a single woman close to retirement.
Well, no better time like the present. How old are you?
I'm 64.
Okay. How long do you want to work for before retirement?
Well, I'm thinking another 2 years, but I'm going to work until there's nothing wrong with me. I'm going to work until I pay off my debt, and then I'll retire.
Well, then that puts a little bit of fire under me to get rid of this debt as quickly as possible, especially with that great income. Now, when you retire, what money will you live off of?
See, that's the thing, right? I had some issues, so I have no savings. I have a home that's worth $1.5 million.
That's a good problem to have.
Other than that, I have a pension that I will be getting, and I think it's like a $40,000 pension. And in addition to that, I'll be getting some government, like pension, the government pension plan and old age security.
Is it kind of like Canada's version of Social Security?
I guess so, yes.
Okay. Well, let's start doing some math going, how much can I live off of? You know, if I need to go from 115 down to 50 with no mortgage payment, can I do that? So start crunching these numbers and get a real solid game plan for what the next 5 years of your life looks like.
And I'm just curious with that house long-term, a $1.5 million house, do you plan to stay there through retirement, or is it a possibility to sell that?
Well, 2 years ago, just before COVID, I was planning to sell it. But then now with everything, I am thinking I'm still playing with it. So in the next 2 years or so, I'm not going to sell it. But at some point, I have to make a decision what I want to do with it.
Well, the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to pay it off, and then your options are wide open.
Exactly.
So this is a good safety net.
My income when I retire would be about $5,000 net.
Yeah. Well, if you wanted to sell that and downsize and use a chunk of that to invest to create some extra retirement income, that's an option as well. So be thinking about all that, and we're wishing you the best. It sounds like you're so close to complete debt freedom by retirement. That is an awesome goal to have. What a pleasure it was to talk to you. Thanks so much for the call. More of your calls coming up, America. 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis this hour. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, Christina, we talk a lot on the show about building wealth, and there's a lot of ways to do it, and most of them are not great. And this was an interesting article from MoneyWise that I wanted to get your take on. Here's the headline: Investing in art is a great hedge against inflation, and you don't need millions to buy in. Head tilt. So it goes on to say the current state of the economy has dealt with some heavy hits for the everyday investor. It goes on to talk about inflation, and then it goes on to talk about these alternative investments. So these are assets that are not stocks. They can help hedge against inflation, protect your wealth from downside risk, and potentially enhance portfolio returns.
Ooh, sounds so fancy.
Yeah, that's a very fun word. And there's a startup called Masterworks that is trying to kind of disrupt this industry. which art is a $1.7 trillion asset class, according to Deloitte, which is pretty wild. And they say contemporary art has outperformed the S&P 500 by 131% for the past 26 years, and it has nearly zero correlation to stocks, according to Citi. That's an interesting stat. I don't know. It feels a little bit biased. This whole article feels like it was paid for by Masterworks. Right. So I don't know how much I can trust it, but it's an interesting concept, this idea. And I think what Masterworks is doing is much like, you buying a stock, a little share of a company. You can own like a share of the Mona Lisa.
Whoa.
So you get a little tiny piece of the Mona Lisa, and the idea is art appreciates over time. As it gets older, ages like a fine wine, and you end up making money from that investment.
Well, George, I'm super curious how you feel about this, because I know how much you love crypto and all the
crypto, love art,
fun new forms of investing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm just gonna say it right now. This feels super risky, even though they're saying has very little risk. I would much rather invest into things that I understand. I would rather invest in my 401k in mutual funds versus alternative investments.
What do you think is so attractive about all these like different, unique, kind of funky ways of investing? Like, why do you think, especially Gen Z, is so drawn to this?
I think they don't see the value, and they're trying to like go to the future where the trends are and the technology, which is why crypto became so popular, because everyone's talking about the blockchain and the world's going to exist on the blockchain, Christina. And so you want to be where the blockchain is.
Don't miss out.
And that's why NFTs are going to be great. Oh, wait, NFTs crashed to zero. Okay. And so I think a lot of it is we don't want to do the things our parents did because we saw how they lived their life, and the 401k is not exciting. And there's so many people coming at them now to get their money, to get them into other investments, crypto, art with Masterworks. There's all kinds of options these days, and there's so much noise out there, it can be hard to choose the right investment opportunity.
Right. Well, and a lot of them can seem really attractive. Like I read this and it's like, oh, wow, it outperformed the S&P 500. Like that's interesting. And it can be enticing. But on the flip side of that, I see that and I go, I don't know art. I don't know that I would pick the right one. I would probably pick the one that's a dud, doesn't do well. So it is hard to navigate some of this right now because it's not like they're saying, hey, invest in this thing that's going to crash in 5 years. Like when crypto was at its hottest, it's like, it's only going to the moon. Like it's going to be the next thing. And it's hard to discern, what's real and what's not. Absolutely. We always say around here, invest in things with a proven track record that you understand. Yep. And art, I'm just not in that world. I'm not an art collector. And what I do like about this, and there's other things about, there's all kinds of DIY investing apps. What I do like about all this is we have democratized investing. Now, anyone can do it. But here's the problem. Anyone can do it, which means any old person can start to make some terrible decisions. We just took a call yesterday on the show. A guy got excited about the GameStop situation at AMC, and he did all these put options trading, and he lost $130,000, and he's got a wife and 3 kids. Oh, and now he's at rock bottom. Oh. But he saw other people do it and make money, and therefore I'm going to do it and make money, and it just doesn't work like that. And so I'd rather get rich slow than attempt to get rich quick. And not that this feels that way. I mean, if you're investing in art, this is more of a long-term investment. You're holding this. But I think unless you have fun money and you love art, I wouldn't go near this. That's my take. I'm with you. I think there are some people that could probably do it well, people who've really studied art, but for the great majority of people, it's probably not the right thing. I don't think this is one of those, I'm going to go sign up for an account and just throw 10 grand in there for fun, see what happens. Oh my gosh. If you could light that money on fire on the kitchen table and not miss it, go for it. Good for you. I'm not at that point yet. Right? I remember reading some forum article at one point about Bitcoin. And there was somebody who posted that they put all of their savings in Bitcoin because everybody said it always goes up. And now it went to zero. And even the Bitcoin guys were like, dude, that was stupid. Oh, boy. It's like, oh, man, it just hurts my heart. Yikes. Stay safe out there, people. All right, Todd joins us up next in Toledo, Ohio. Todd, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. Yeah. Sorry if I sound nervous at all. This is my first call with you guys.
Hey, we're freaking out with you, man. We're going to do great. We're in this together.
Thank you. Well, I am a 20-year-old kid, and my mom is going through a foreclosure, and it's forced me and my brother to take out a loan, and I'm wondering if there's anything that I should do that I may have not thought of.
Oh, Todd, I'm so sorry. How did she end up in foreclosure?
Well, during the pandemic, we were kind of in a rough spot, and we were forced to basically get a loan for our house because we qualified for it, and she ended up using the house as collateral, and she made a late payment on the loan. And she thought it'd be fine, just pay like the late fee or whatever. But they were like, no, there's no late fee. We're going to take your house unless you can pay back this loan. And the loan was for basically 2 years of house payment. And so now we owe about $35K to $40K on it.
Who's we?
Me, my brother, and my mom.
So you're already on this loan?
Yes. I had to take it out just because it's due to be paid off this Friday.
What's due to be paid off? The $35,000 loan?
Yes.
Okay.
Or what? Or you lose the house?
Yes, basically.
How much is the house worth?
I believe it's worth $260K.
And so you said during the pandemic, you had to take out the loan and you had the opportunity to. Was that to afford your house payments? Or what kind of led to taking out the loan?
It was basically my mom wanted to defer her money. It sounded like a good deal to my mom. I personally wouldn't take out any loan, but she thought it was a good deal and took out the loan, and now we're just kind of in this situation.
So on Friday, is the entire loan due, or you said they won't take
the entire loan?
I don't know what kind of shady loan you guys signed up for, but this is a nightmare, Todd. And you keep saying that we were forced. Okay. I've never heard of someone forcing you to take out a loan.
Okay, it wasn't like a loan shark kind of thing. It was through, am I allowed to say the name?
Sure.
It was through Loan Care, and then it was some agency that my mom's been using forever. I don't know. I don't do
Todd. Well, you're growing up fast for 20 because this is an adult decision you made to co-sign on this debt. It sounds like you guys are going to lose this house, and we're going to need to find some place to rent. I would get in touch with a real estate attorney to figure out what your rights are, if there's a way to save this thing. But on a quick call, it's hard to dig into all these details. But man, this is just a lesson to never co-sign debt and to read the fine print. I'm so sorry you guys are going through this, Todd. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. Just before the break, we were talking to Todd in Toledo, and here's the situation. Mom missed a mortgage payment, and him and his brother co-signed a loan along with her, and the house is about to be foreclosed on in a few days unless they can pay this loan. Todd, we didn't want to leave you hanging there, so let's get back to your situation here. So as I understand it, you guys are taking a personal loan out to cover this $35,000, $40,000 loan in order to save the house?
Correct.
Okay, and is that done?
Yes. I took out a $8,000 loan, and I also have I have $6,000 in personal savings, and my brother had to take out $11K, and he had
Do you have some money in savings?
$14K and personal savings, yes.
And that covers the amount that you guys needed?
Yes.
To cover this loan?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And your mom, did she not qualify for something to cover it? Why is it you guys responsible for it?
That's exactly right. Her credit score is shot, and she can't really get any more money than what's from her income.
So what's the actual mortgage amount?
What do you mean?
Because you have the $35,000-$40K loan. Is there another mortgage as well on this house?
Yes. I don't know how much left is on it, but we've had this house for at least 15 years or so I'm assuming it's more than half paid off.
Okay. And can your mom afford the payment? What is her income?
She can't afford the payment. It was her income's about $60K a year.
Okay. And what is this mortgage payment she needs to make every month?
I believe it's about $1,500.
Okay. And you both are living there, you and your brother?
Yes.
All right. So your question now becomes, hey, we're going to be able to keep the house. It's not going to get foreclosed on. We're going to pay this loan off in time to avoid foreclosure, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which now leaves you personally with an $8,000 loan and no savings.
Yep.
And it leaves your brother with an $11,000 loan and no savings.
And then you still have...
Correct.
Oh, I guess they pay off that loan.
And that then just leaves you with whatever mortgage was originally on the house, which is in your mom's name.
Yes.
Okay. So you're asking, what is the plan going forward for us to pay this off?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We can do that now. So what is your income?
I make about $33,000 a year.
Okay.
My brother makes the same.
Your brother makes the same?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, your A1 is to get $1,000 starter emergency fund. Both of you separately, $1,000 in the bank. Beyond that, we're going to be tackling these loans. Do you guys have any other debt?
No.
That's good news. And I assume mom has nothing in the bank?
Not really, other than low liquidity stocks.
Okay, so is she able to sell those off?
Not in time for this, because it needs to be all one big payment by Friday.
But you guys already have that money, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would go ahead and make sure this loan is cleared in time. Have you contacted the lender to let them know the situation?
Yes.
Okay.
What's that discussion been like when you're on the phone with them?
Basically, what they said is I could probably be able to pay it off within the year, because me and my brother made sure that we got a loan with no prepayment penalty. So we're just going to, as far as our plan goes, we're just going to try and apply as much money as we can this year to get them out of our hair.
You're talking about those personal loans you guys took out for $8K and $11K?
Yes.
Okay, what about the $35,000, $40,000 loan that you're paying off to keep the house?
The loan basically was set up in a way to defer our house payments to the loan. So during the time, it's just we're just kind of paying off the house in that sense.
But when you call this lender up about the $35,000 to $40,000, what's the conversation like? Have they threatened you? Have they said you have to pay this by Friday or before? Tell me about that conversation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, where in the fine print was it, hey, if you miss a payment, it's due in full within a week?
It was my mom who talked to them, and they just kind of they were just like, oh, yeah, sorry, you didn't make the payment, so your house is in foreclosure kind of thing. They really didn't give any heads up on that whole spectrum of, that side of the loan.
Okay, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I'm kind of frustrated with your mom right now.
Oh, no. No, it's not unpopular.
You're 18 years old, and she brought you into this situation. She is clearly not handling her money well, and she is dragging her sons into this. My heart just hurts for you, and I feel frustrated. And right now, I'm not going to trust your mom's follow through on this financial situation. Your name is on that loan.
How do we know this isn't going to happen again?
Basically, her plan is to either sell the house. What I want to do with the house is I want to fix it up and then make long-term money off of it by renting it. And I think that would be better, but I don't know what you guys would say on that matter.
But here's the thing. Before we leave that, I'm calling that lender myself. If I'm in your shoes, like you said your mom called them, I want you to pick up the phone and you to call them. Because right now, if you and your brother take out those loans, you're essentially transferring the debt away from your mother. Like your mom is on that for $35K loan. She's not going to be on this $8K and $11K, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's putting that debt all in your name. She gets out of that $35,000 scot-free, right?
And she gets to keep living how she's been living.
Like, I'm not letting her off the hook that easy. Like, I'm calling. That is your loan. You call and you see if this is really true, that this whole Friday thing is true, if everything is due and you have to take out a loan. Like, I want the details myself firsthand. I would pick up that phone. And if it is true that they're like, you got to pay it by Friday, then I'd say, okay, we're going to negotiate. Like, they don't want to really go through foreclosure. So then talk to them and say, I mean, maybe they do because they'd be getting a steal on that, but I would still talk to them and say, I've got this much money. Like, will you take 20, right? Before you put all your savings into it, like, see if you can negotiate, like, take ownership of this situation. It is your life and your money. And it's so sad that at your age, you're having to deal with this. That just frustrates me to no end. But I want to empower you to take responsibility for this and actually follow through on all aspects of this.
Okay, thank you.
If I'm in your shoes, you're saying, Mom, this is too much. You've put us in a terrible financial situation. You've put us in debt for your home, and we're selling this thing, and you're going to go rent somewhere that you can afford so that you don't get foreclosed on again, and it may be time for you and the brother to move out and get your own place together. Would that work?
Agreed. Yeah.
Because this is just a toxic situation, and my worry is she keeps taking advantage of you guys financially.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important too. Like, I'm all about honoring parents and respecting and all of that. And I know you probably do want a relationship going forward. And if that's the case, I'm also going to say, hey, Mom, we're going to sit down and take Financial Peace University. Like, what you're doing with your life, how you're managing your money, the fact that you're in such a mess, like, that's not okay. We need to sit down together and clean up this mess. Like, it's not just going to be on me and my brother to deal with this. You got to sit down with us. Like, we're going to get good with money, but so are you. Like, I really want you to do this with us.
Gotcha. Okay. Like, I would say I'm pretty good with money personally because as far as a role model goes.
Because you've had to grow up fast.
Yeah, it was like my mom was like showing me everything not to do, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that kind of thing.
Well, part of being good with money, Todd, is not co-signing other people's debt. And you put yourself in a precarious situation, and you got a great heart. Clearly, you want to save the house and keep Mom in there. But, man, this is a big, stupid tax we're paying, and we're going to say never again. We're going to change our family tree.
Let's get them Financial Peace University for free. Hang on the line. Austin will pick up and get you that to get started.
This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Luke 12:15. And he said to them, "Take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." Maya Angelou said, "We need much less than we think we need." She was onto something there. Live on less than you make.
So good.
Love it. Well, Folks, most of you are glad to be rid of 2022 because it was tough to keep gas in the car and food in the fridge. And for so many out there, money is still so tight, and you might be wondering if this year is going to be any different. Well, you don't have to live through another year of stress and worry, and that's why we're putting on a free live stream event called Building Wealth in 2023, happening this week, January 12th, this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, because we want to show you that you can still make progress on your goals, you can build wealth, you can have peace with money, even in this crazy economy. At the event, you're going to hear from Dave Ramsey, Rachel Cruz, myself, Dr. John Deloney, and Ken Coleman. We're going to talk about how to set goals, how to create margin, give you some peace about what's happening out there in the economy and the stock market so that you can build wealth this year with confidence. We're going to have some fun. There's some fun surprises. And the good news is, even if the economy still feels out of control by the end of the year, you don't have to. Register for this free live stream. Tell your friends about it. RamseySolutions.com/wealth. You can tune in from anywhere in the world. That's RamseySolutions.com/wealth. Frank joins us up next in Charlotte, North Carolina. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time. I'll try and keep it brief. I know a lot of people are trying to talk to you guys. My wife and I got married in about 2021, and we together made about $260,000 together. You know, my job had an annuity and a pension. She had a 401k, and she contributed to a Roth that wasn't part of her job. And then early last year, I had a really bad work accident, and I've been out of work since.
Oh, sorry, Frank. Are you okay?
I'm still recovering. I had 4 surgeries this past 10 months. Wow. I don't, I'm almost positive I won't be going back into my industry.
What kind of work were you doing?
Construction.
Man, that must have been a terrible accident. So sorry.
It was. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we have, together we have about 205,000 savings. We were doing.
Is that non-retirement?
Well until we weren't. Yeah, so it's non-retirement.
Okay.
But my everything was through my job, my annuity, and my pension. My pension's now not really in the play as far as not finishing out the career. So with where I'm at now, I know we have with where we're at now. I just don't know what I should do with my savings based on where we're at.
How old are you guys?
We're in our 30s.
And she's still working?
Yes. So she makes about $110,000.
Okay.
Now, our bills are about $5,000 a month. With the only things we have is a house and one of our cars. We have a mortgage on, a loan on.
Okay. What's left on the car loan?
It's about 25, and I think the car's worth like 35. So I have about 25 left on the car.
Okay.
She brings in about $5,000 a month, and our bills right now are about $5,000 a month.
So her take-home pay is $60, but she's making $110?
Yeah, right around there. Those are rough numbers, but it's pretty close to the ballpark.
Wow.
And do y'all own a home?
Yes.
Okay.
So RA1 is getting you guys in at a solid financial position. Obviously, you have all the savings. What's left on the mortgage?
About $360.
Oof. That's, I assume, most of your expenses in that $5K is that mortgage payment.
Yeah, the mortgage, the one car is $500 a month, which if we paid that out of the savings, that brings it down to $4,500 a month, putting an extra $500 in our pocket. But,
I would pay off that car today if you want to keep it, if you like the car. Now, if you hate the car, sure, you can go sell it and get something cheaper with cash. But as a part of your world, it's not that much. And so you can keep it. I would just pay it off today if you want to do that.
Where did this 200 in savings come from? Was that just, what was the plan for that money? Why has it just been sitting in savings?
So we were toying around with the idea of buying a second home, buying a rental home, buying a business. We would go back and forth. We both worked a lot. So there was not a lot of time to discuss things and settle down. So I kind of just sat there for the last, 18 months or so. Well, actually not even 18 months, because last year I got hurt and then all that talk got out the window. So it was only about, 9 or 10 months of talking about it before everything changed.
Well, I would let this be a reset moment for you guys where we say, you know what? We don't want more risk in our life. We don't want more mortgages and more payments. We want less payments. So if something like this ever happened again or one of us couldn't work, we're going to be okay. And so I would be focusing on getting rid of that house payment, paying off the mortgage, and being completely debt-free, investing for the future, and then later on down the line, we can talk about paying cash for investment property.
Right.
So that's how I would walk this out. My also A1 is to get you doing some kind of work that you can do. Have you looked into another career?
As of now, it's all kind of up in the air. I don't know what I'm going to be capable of doing as far as work. All I've done is, manual labor jobs. The last one was paying well, and it was a great job.
Are you
thought I was going to spend my career
able
there.
to drive? Are you able to physically do anything?
At the moment, no.
Okay. Well, maybe
No, I just had another surgery recently, so I'm not doing anything right now.
Well, as you heal up, it may be prudent to look into some jobs you could do even from home on a computer, something to give you some purpose during the day once you're healed up. You're obviously your brain's working great, and it's a huge blessing.
Yeah, I'm so stuck with like us. I pay off this car. We have 180,000 left. Even if I keep 60 of it just to pay the bills for the next 2 years with her salary, there's 140, 160 just sitting there. Like, is that something that should be doing something? Is that something that should I buy art? What
Dear Lord, no. No. Frank, I want this money working for you. Now's not the time to get fancy. This is not a pile of fun money where we're going to go gamble away. This is money I want you guys to use to secure your future. And so that means we're paying down the mortgage, because once we have no mortgage payment, that really sets us up to where even if you could never work again, she would be able to cover all the bills with extra margin.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're putting away, some of that money for a fully funded emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. And is she still investing toward retirement?
Yes.
Okay, great. So keep doing that. And then from there, do y'all have kids?
No kids.
Okay.
Okay.
So your next goal would be to pay down that mortgage with her income right now and eventually with your income.
Right.
And once we do that, then we're at baby step 7, which is where we build wealth and give. That is when we can save up more cash and get investment property. And heck, if you want to invest in some art, Frank, down the line, once the house is paid off, you can do that.
No, it's never been a thing of mine. I just heard you saying that a minute ago.
Good. Well, Frank, I'm so sorry to hear about your situation, man. I mean, I can't imagine the emotional toll it's taken on top of the financial one. So we're going to send you a copy of Dr. John Deloney's book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. And I think it will help you figure out how to grieve this crazy situation that you've went through and move forward and heal.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call. Man, Christina, we ended with a heavy call yesterday, and that's another heavy one where someone experienced something traumatic and their world just flips upside down. And the lesson I get from this on the financial side is this plan works in good times and in bad times. And when you don't owe anyone anything, including a house payment, and you have a pile of cash in the bank, it changes the way you make decisions. You can move forward with patience, with clarity, with wisdom, instead of being scattered going, how are we going to cover next? We got to pay the bills. We got to cover the mortgage. We got to pay all of our payments. Right. So it just changes the way you make decisions.
Yeah, that's huge. Because the situation, it was twofold. There's the financial side of things, and then there's the grief and the loss and the pain from, the accident. So being able to focus in on the financial conversation with $200,000 in the bank.
It changes things when you got a pile of money. That's for sure. Well, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to my co-host, Christina Ellis, all the guys in the booth, Austin, Ben, James, Zach, Andrew, and you, America. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.